25th of August 2023, and I do hope that you are having a delightful Friday up to this minute. My name is Victor Enzobeli, and we have plenty prepared for you this afternoon. But first, allow me to brief you on stories that we have laid our eyes on and that we'll be keeping close tab upon, where President Ruto is expected to return to the Gusii region today to commission development projects in Nyamira County. And Arin Chesang, a Rural Electrification Authority employee, who is expected at the Milimani court where she was charged with forgery. This is and many more other stories where we'll be following up, and we'll keep you updated on that. Now, remember, you can follow this bulletin on our social media pages on Facebook and YouTube at EBN TV. Now, let's head over and have a look at what we have prepared for you this afternoon, where after many rumors about the health department in Kiambu, now the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Susan Nakumicha, has praised the steps taken by the government of Kiambu to embrace technology in improving the health sector, while also hinting that they will examine the essence of many patients from the counties of Machakos and a place to search for medical services. During a visit to the Kiambu Referral Hospital in the city, the country's Cabinet Health Secretary for Health, Susan Nakumicha, praised the leadership of Kiambu for embracing technology in developing the health sector. According to her, the move is exemplary, as all 114 public hospitals across Kiambu have already been linked together. At the same time, the Cabinet Secretary has hinted that the ministry will start a complete investigation of the core of many patients from the counties of Machakos and Kitui, and as such for medical services. In addition, she asked the Governor of Kiambu, Paul Kimani Wamatangi, to ensure that the hospital receives the Linda Mama Fund to benefit all mothers who rely on it to give birth.
Women who come here to access maternity services, they should be able to claim from the fund so that they get reimbursement. And that reimbursement, Governor, sio ya kujenga kabro, sio ya kujenga gate, ni ya kuweka dawa kwa hospitali. So thank you. We are going to roll out a national equipment support to counties. So we have discussed with the governor that then he can do his request and list the number of equipment that he would need support from the national government. And one is on equipment, which we have discussed with the governor. We are going to roll out a national equipment support to counties. So we have discussed with the governor that then he can do his request and list the number of equipment that he would need support from the national government. That they have begun a digitization process. They have a total of 114 facilities, and they are at 70% in terms of ensuring that they are able to link all these facilities. One is that they'll be able to see the HPTs, the health products and technologies, all through stocks. And we want to link them up to KEMSA so that then they can even communicate with KEMSA. That is revolutionary. I think it is the first county that I have been to that has gone that far. Many of them have technology here and there, but with the capacity to link all the facilities within the place, this is the first one that I have seen, and I have asked Governor to be a champion of digitization of healthcare. You know, after this assessment, we want to place facilities into primary care networks, so that then we can be able to provide services to people, and digitization is going to be very important.
Right now, residents of Ruai have urged the government to consider fulfilling the promises they gave to Kasarani constituency residents as clean drinking water, fair distribution of bursaries, and good access of roads and security. Speaking during the one-year anniversary of Kasarani Economic Community-Based Organization, speakers urged the national and county government to fight drug abuse that have dominated in the area. They urged investors to give job opportunities to Ruai residents, more so manufacturing companies and big investors. They also urged free medical checkups courtesy of Equity Afya, who are also partners, where they were advised to get time to get checkups to avoid serious sicknesses later, which might be controlled by substance at their early age. They also urged the governor, Sakaja, to add more drugs in hospitals, more for hypertension and sugar. And let's have a look at the story.
Mimi naweza uliza governor wetu Sakaja, ni mambo ya maji. Maji ni kitu moja muhimu sana, na ni kitu ambayo imeshikilia boma mingi sana. Hii tank imejengwa hapa ya embakasi kwa jeshi. Tunaomba sisi watu wa Ruai itakuwa imetufaidi sisi watu wa Ruai wa kwanza. Ya pili itakuwa inafaidi watu hata wa Joska kwa sababu mwananchi ni mwananchi. Hakuna mwananchi wa Joska na hakuna mwananchi wa Kasarani. Kwa hivyo tunaomba tu ile programu ya maji inakuja ifaidi watu wote na ikuwe ni maji.
Hakikana wale watoto kukiwa kuna divoters ambao wamekosa kupeleka watoto kwa clinic ni na warifa. Kwa hivyo mimi pande yangu naongea juu ya afya. Kwa sababu saa zingine wamama hawa wako na sukari, wako na pressure, wanaendaga kwa mahospitali, wanakosa dawa. Tungeomba Bwana Sakanja aweze kujaribu ya kwamba wale wamama wa sukari na hypertension waweze kuletewa dawa kwa facility. Saa zingine wanaungana, wakiungana kuna hospitali zingine wanaambiwa watoe 500. Tunajiuliza kama sisi CHP hizo dawa zinaletwa kwa facility zinakuaga kwa nani, na wanaambiwa watoe 500 diposa waweze kupata hizo dawa. Kwa hivyo Bwana Sakaja, tungeuliza ya kwamba tuweze dawa za hypertension na diabetes ziweze kuwa provided in the hospitals. Hata kwa hospitali zetu dawa hakuna dawa za kutosha. Kwa hivyo tungeomba waweze kutuletea dawa kwa wingi diposa afya ikuwe ni bora.
Now, members of the Luo Council of Elders now want Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to give President William Ruto room to work for the Kenyan people. Led by their Vice Chairman, Mzee James Ayaga, the elders who have accused Mr. Gachagua of holding the president captive have called on him to give the head of state some space to discharge the mandate for which he was elected into the office, while condemning the deputy president's persistent habit of making inflammatory remarks. Mzee Ayaga lamented that together with a few other leaders from Mount Kenya region, Mr. Gachagua was holding the president captive to an extent that he cannot discharge his duties effectively. He stated that it is quite unfortunate that even as President Ruto tries to find a better way of bringing peace and uniting the country through the bipartisan talks, Mr. Gachagua was busy trying to sabotage the process through his reckless and inciting pronouncements left, right, and center. Now, the Luo elder warned that since the main dream of elders from across the Kenyan communities is to see peace and tranquility prevailing, they would not wish to see it destroyed by just a few individuals who want to achieve the selfish political interests.
Now, I've always talked about captivity of Ruto by the Chagwa, Kimani Chungwa, Ndindi Nyoro, and Moses Kuria. And I want to repeat today, because as you can see, all that we have been looking for is peace. We have been looking for peace, and the major objective of all the communities, all the councils of communities, is peace and harmony. And because of that, we do not want anybody to create problems in Kenya. As at now, you can see that Ruto and Gachagua and all those people are walking around Kenya inciting communities against one another. Something I've always talked about, and something the Kenyans must also see and come up to stop. The Kalenjins, the Kikuyus, the Lulus, the elders of those areas, we have to join hands and make sure we remove Ruto from the captivity of the four young people. These people are so young, they don't know where Kenya has come from, where Kenya is, and where Kenya wants to go. They should be told where Kenya has come from, and where Kenya is, and where Kenya would like to go. But you see, they have got to stop that. I think the Chagwa has to play the role of a deputy, not the role of a president, which is playing now. And maybe some people will say that Ruto has left him to do that. No, I don't think Ruto has done that. It is the Chagwa who has joined the hands with this the other people, I'm telling you, to capture Ruto, so that Ruto can only talk their mind. Ruto cannot talk his own mind.
Right, and now Humphrey Mulongo has been sworn into office as the new Commissioner General of the Kenya Revenue Authority after his appointment by Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndung'u in a Gazette notice issued on Thursday evening. Mulongo, Mulongo, who was taken office after James Mburu was forced out at the end of the regime of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, has vowed to streamline KRA and ensure that KRA officials are effective in service delivery.
I, Humphrey Mulongo, having been appointed as the Commissioner General of the Kenya Revenue Authority, do swear that I will be true and faithful to the best of my ability and power in the execution of the trust committed to my charge and inspection in the service of the Kenya Revenue Authority, and that I shall not acquire, take or receive any fee, gratuity or reward, whether pecuniary or in any sort of description whatsoever, either directly or indirectly, for any service, act, duty, matter, or thing done or performed, or to be done or performed in the execution or discharge of any of the duties of my office, or employment on any account whatsoever, other than my salary and my allowances, or as may be allowed by law in writing. And I shall not divulge or give out any document or information to any person, nor permit access by unauthorized persons, save as permitted by law.
Right now, sugarcane farmers are set to access low-cost loans should the sugar bill currently before the National Assembly become law. The bill, which sailed through to the second reading after receiving approval from members of the National Assembly, seeks to establish a 4% sugar development levy to bolster cane development and revitalize Kenya's ailing sugar industry.
Has to be able to give breath of life to the sugar industry, there is need to introduce the sugar development levy, and that is where the rubber meets the road. On the sugar development levy, I think some members, especially who are coming from the sugar belt, might be asking why the 4%. The 4% is as a result of the protocols we have entered with the COMESA, where all the sugar, the imported and the ones that are milled in this country, all of them, if there's a levy, they need to be given the same percentage.
The sugar sector has been milked dry by people in authority, right from the executive to this house, to the management of the various sugar mills, especially those publicly owned sugar mills. There are people who have become billionaires in this country, and we know them, as a result of the milking of the sugar sector. Some of the sugar factories in Western Kenya are on their knees as a result of pilferage, of theft by persons who are known. We know them. We know them. Some of them are now in UDA. They used to be in ODM.
As we look at reforming the entire sugar space, it shall not be lost to us that there are perennial offenders that have gotten us into the problems that we are in. The historical governance improprieties that we know of individuals who have shut down sugar companies, pilfered in these sugar companies, and are walking in this country free, scot-free, and in fact running for offices, in very high offices, Mr. Speaker.
We must move and jail very quickly the likes of Rai, the likes of Kidero, and I'm even told the likes of one governor from Honorable Wandai's home who has been built a house by one of these barons, Honorable Speaker, for the sake of our institutions.
Now to a story that has been all over the headlines for the past couple of days. Parents and students caught up in the Uasin Gishu overseas scholarship scam are threatening to resume demonstrations later next week. They say despite calling off the protest for a smooth devolution conference held in Eldoret, they are yet to get any commitment from the county government on when they will receive their money back.
Bia kama gavana twende tutulie devolution ishe. Tumekuheshimu tukafanya hivyo. Tumekuheshimu, hakuna siku umetuita ukasema acha tukutane utuambie way forward vile inaendelea. Kama mimi mwenyewe nilikupatia barua nikakwambia mtoto amepata barua. Mlishika na senator. Sijui mlishika mkaona ilikuwa barua ama ilikuwa ni nini. Mtupe pesa zetu watoto wetu waende shule.
Bwana Gavana Chelilim, siku ile tulikuwa Westi, ulitanganya sisi na kuita viongozi yetu ya kuongoza. Halafu unapiga challenge, hakuna kitu ulisema. Sasa wiki mbili ama wiki tatu, pata majibu yote. Tunaumia, watoto naumia, watoto nakuwa hata nini. Na wewe nakaa tu, hakuna kitu wewe nakumbuka tangu siku hiyo. Na wewe nalala tu kwa nyumba juu kuropa, hakuna kitu naona kwa hiyo asasi inatembea na watu.
Pambana, sisi hatukuji kwa milango zenyu nyinyi kama viongozi kuwaomba. Tumetumia nguvu zetu, tumefanya kazi kwa bidii tukapata pesa, wengine tukakopa, tukauza properties zetu watoto wetu waende kasome. Mbona mnakatalia pesa zetu?
If we want to have our money by today, county government of Uasin Gishu, we are on streets. Tutalala kwa streets. We are searching for our money. We need our money with immediate effect. What will we use to pay our fees?
Pesa ambazo nililipa November 31st katika hii regime ya Governor Chelilim. Na kusema ukweli, hii regime ya sasa wajue kwamba tunataka pesa zetu. Wao wako responsible na pesa zetu ambazo tunasitaka kwa haraka kwa sababu watoto wetu wanataka enda another country.
Muna hata aibu kwa hiyo ulimwengu wa saa hii kudanganya mtoto nyinyi kama serikali ya kuwa kwamba mnapeleka mtoto nje na nyinyi mnaenda kuiba pesa yao. Tunaomba mrudishe pesa zetu with immediate effect. Ama la sivyo tutaandamana, mtaibika dunia mzima. Governor tumeongea ukasema tungoje devolution. Senator tuliongea ndio yenyewe tunajua vile ilifanyika. Lakini sisi hatutaki kesi. Sisi tunataka pesa zetu. Mrudishe pesa zetu, atuwaombi.
Wakati Kenya ulipata uhuru 1963 akasema ataua vitu tatu: maskini, ugonjwa na uchinga. Sasa uchinga umekamata Uasin Gishu. Na ugonjwa iko na hospitali, watu nalala, wasasi hii yote inalala kwa hospitali. Na watoto naenda streets, sauri ya uchinga, hakuna elimu.
We are going to marshal our wazazi na wengine tuanze kuweka second adjust to impeach the governor and the senator.
Right, with our focus still on education matters, university heads have been directed to admit new students expected to report from next week without any requirements until the government fully completes the new funding model infrastructure. Speaking before the Parliament Education Committee, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Mashogu has defended the funding model, noting that it is meant to ensure equality in distributing funds to tertiary institution students.
What I want from you, CS, is to confirm two things. And the first option is the best as the people's representative. That on Monday, when those children go to the institutions, they will be allowed in so long as they have the letters pending the processing from Mr. Ringera and his team in terms of the funding. The other option will be to postpone the opening day, but as a people's representative, I think that is a no-go zone.
If that is not going to happen, why the rush? They will be there for 4 years anyway. They can wait for another 1 month or even 2 and report in October when things shall have been put in a better perspective. Will they report without money?
We have made it clear to our public universities and they will be admitted while we are processing disbursement of funds to all our public universities.
These ones without an ID. Honorable Chair, is there a way the Cabinet Secretary can also assure us that because majority of them have already made an application, that they can also go to school and then the matter can be handled from there.
What do we tell students who applied for a public university and were admitted in private universities in the courses that they did not choose?
Just want the assurance that after 7th September, the system will still be open for those who are not able to apply to continue applying.
Are you willing, as the Ministry of Education, to provide support desks in the universities to enable those students to be assisted in the application of scholarships or bursaries?
When do we expect a circular that will go to all universities indicating that children should be absorbed without school fees? And at what time? Will it indicate the time the child will be allowed to be in school as the government prepare? Because that's the only assurance.
We undertake to provide the circular anytime before the end of the week, because it is of necessity that all our university know this as we provide the way forward so that our students can be admitted without any such hindrance.
Now, Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria, together with his transport counterpart Kipchumba Murkomen, on Thursday presided over the relaunch of the cargo flights at the Eldoret International Airport. The two cabinet secretaries have also revealed that plans are underway to expand the airport, which will allow the airport to operate at full capacity and significantly reduce the cost of imports into the country.
That's for imports, but also for exports. So we work together with the governor, set up a hub for export. Even tea will be exported from here, from Kericho, from Kisii, from Nyamira, from Nandi, and all the counties in this region, so that we can be able to export tea and move the tea center from Dubai to here in Eldoret. The problem to me is one, that the cost of cargo, I am advised that it is double other comparable airports. Why? Because of the runway. And we need to expand the runway by only 500 meters.
We must work hard to bring investors to this region. This airport's vision, Mheshimiwa Cheleli, Governor B, this airport vision that President Moi had, he already played his part in terms of putting the infrastructure. It is for us now to take it to the next level by providing the goods that we are able to export from Wasingishi, from this region to the rest of the world.
Today we are so happy we are here. We have relaunched the flights back into operations, and actually we met with all the stakeholders and we agreed. We ironed out all the problem and we agreed to facilitate trade and not to frustrate it. So I'm sure from now on things will be back to normal, and we expect to do more, not only import as well as export.
Private recruitment agencies want the National Industrial Training Authority, NITA, to be stripped of its powers to regulate the training of home care workers. The agencies accuse the regulator of sabotaging the operations by issuing fake transcripts to untrained domestic workers and running parallel training programs.
We have assessors who are chosen by NITA, who are also trainers who are trained by NITA. And if you do not do what the NITA staff tell you to do at the examination center, then you will not be given an opportunity to assess next time. So, and some of these people demand money so that the students can pass.
Before we went to the parliamentary committee, one of the agents talked to a NITA officer, of which you don't know if it's an officer or it's a proxy, and the officer, through an SMS, promised to sell transcripts to that agent through WhatsApp, and we presented to the committee last week. The agent was required to only pay 10,000 for each transcript.
Some of those who appeared for vetting were asked some very simple questions, and then they started saying that the documents are with their partners. When asked who are these partners, they started saying that their partners are in Saudi.
Institutional changes that need to take place in NITA, I have made a proposal to the Director General and to the Chairman of the Board that we need to separate home care training from the Directorate of Industrial Training, because currently they are done together. And so part of these inefficiencies arise out of that arrangement where home care is lumped together with the other kind of trainings.
Cannot do it here with the regulators and government.
Now, the Lamu Christian Leaders Fellowship is pressing the government to improve the security of the county after a rise in the number of terrorist attacks in the county believed to be carried out by Al-Shabaab militants. This is developing as the security situation has continued to remain volatile in Lamu County, where Al-Shabaab militants attacked the area earlier yesterday. However, no one was injured in the incident in the Mkunumbi area, while the Cabinet Secretary of Interior Security, Professor Kithure Kindiki, promised to strengthen security strategies in the area.
Ni matukio kadhaa mengi yametokea ambayo yametokea katika maeneo haya, na sisi tunasema kwamba matukio haya si mazuri na hatufurahishwi nayo, na tungependa serikali iweze kuchukua hatua inayohitajika kuhakikisha matukio haya hayaendelei tena, ili watu wasiendelee kufa, mifugo na mali iache kuendelea kuharibiwa. Na pia tunaomba kwamba wale watu ambao wanashirikiana na mambo haya waweze kuachana nayo, maana Mungu hapendezwi nayo na inaweza kuleta mambo ambayo si mazuri kwa vizazi vyetu.
Na jambo hilo si nzuri. Na hiyo ndio inasema kwamba wende kaanza kuleta uhasama wa Kristo kuonekana kwamba mali yao ya chomwa, kanisa la chomwa. Huo ni uchokozi wa hali ya juu. Na ningeomba ya kwamba wahusika waweze kukoma na waweze kuacha jambo hilo mara moja.
Wito wako kwa serikali na wananchi kushirikiana katika kuleta?
Wito wangu kwa serikali ni kwamba serikali ina kila uwezo. Serikali ina mamlaka. Serikali itumie mamlaka yake na vitengo vyake vya kiusalama kuona ya kwamba jambo hili limekomeshwa. Serikali ina mashine za kila aina, za kivita, vitu vya kutambua kile kinachoendelea, wajasusi wamejaa. Kitu hiki kikifuatiliwa vizuri kinaweza kujulikana kinafanyika nini. So serikali naomba kwamba pia shirikiane na wananchi on the ground. Ile information wanapewa na wananchi iweze kufuatiliwa, inaweza kufanya kaleta solution ama ukweli ukajulikana. Na wananchi pia wasifiche ukweli, wanapojua kuna ukweli fulani unaoendelea waweze kujitokeza na kutoa ile information, inaweza kusababisha ili jambo likafuatiliwa na kukapatikana suluhisho.
Now, barely 1 week after the promotion of 14,000 teachers, the Teachers Service Commission has announced another round of promotions for over 36,000 teachers. In a circular by TSC, the teachers will be promoted across 9 grades as the government seeks to quell the disquiet over the stagnation of teachers. The move, coming a day after teachers' salary review talks hit a snag, has been viewed as a ploy by the Commission to partly silence the disquiet within the teaching fraternity. Those interested are expected to apply for the positions by the 8th of September through the TSC portal. The call comes 1 week after the TSC effected the promotion of 14,000 teachers, which had been pending from the last financial year. The Commission has been allocated 1 billion Kenyan shillings by the National Treasury to affect the 36,275 promotions. Right now, switching gears to business matters, KCB Group has recorded a profit after tax of Kenyan shillings 16.1 billion for the first half of 2023, which represents a decline of 17.9% compared to the same period in 2022, which recorded 19.6 billion Kenyan shillings. The lenders said the decline was attributed to multiple factors, including an increase in loan loss provisions by 137.2%, coupled with a Kenyan shillings 3.8 billion loss in National Bank of Kenya, a subsidiary of KCB Group. During the first quarter of 2023, the bank recorded a 1% decline in PAT to Kenyan shillings 9.8 billion compared to 9.9 billion Kenyan shillings in the first quarter of 2022. During the half year, the trend was accelerated by a significant increase in both total interest and operating expenses at 77% and 60.1% respectively. Now, crossing our borders and having a look at the international news, the BRICS group of big emerging economies has announced the admission of 6 new members in an attempt to reshape the global world order and provide a counterweight to the United States and its allies. From the beginning of next year, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Argentina, the United Arab Emirates and Ethiopia will join the current 5 members, which include Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It was announced at a summit in Johannesburg on Thursday. China's President Xi Jinping described the expansion as historic. He had been the leading proponent of the admission of new members, presenting an enlarged BRICS as a way for the global South to have a stronger voice in world affairs.
We have decided to invite the Argentine Republic, the Arab Republic of Egypt, the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates to become full members of BRICS. The membership will take effect from the 1st of January 2024.
For multilateral institutions to remain truly universal, they must reform to reflect today's power and economic realities and not the power and economic realities of the post-Second World War. In the absence of such reform, fragmentation is inevitable.
Now, a spokesperson for the Zimbabwean opposition party Citizens Coalition for Change advised a gathered media in Harare that his party was performing well in the current elections. The country entered the second day of voting on Thursday after major delays due to shortages in ballot papers, which led to thousands of Zimbabweans not being able to cast their votes on the official election day on Wednesday. Many Zimbabweans registered to vote at the affected polling stations spent the previous night camping outside until the issue was resolved. Polls are expected to close by the 7 p.m. local time, where attention will turn to vote counting, with the results expected to be announced on 1st September 2023. President Emerson Mnangagwa, aged 80, who is seeking a second full term, won a disputed election in 2018 against the main challenger, Nelson Chamisa, who is contesting against him this time.
The information we have is that we are leading on the presidential election comfortably, and we are doing well on the parliamentary elections. We expect this trend to continue because the people of Zimbabwe have decided that they want change. Then in terms of the election results, I think what we can say for now is that we are monitoring the situation. We have learned a lot from the past, and we will be responding accordingly at the appropriate time. But what we want to assure the people of Zimbabwe is that we are not going to let ZANU-PF get away with theft again.
Right, and now that brings us to the end of that segment. Now it's time for us to head over and have a look at what is taking place in the sports arena. Right, and now in the sports news segment, Malkia Strikers are the African Cup of Nations volleyball champions after dethroning Egypt 3-0 in a scintillating final showdown staged on Thursday night in Yaoundé, Cameroon. It was a historic win for the 9 times African champions, bagging their record 10th title after 8 years in the cold. After experienced Sharon Chepchumba, Veronica Adhiambo, and Captain Mercy Moim led Bitok's charges against their fierce rivals in a 3-1 hard-fought win in their semi-final. The trio capped it with an incredibly impressive shift against hapless Egypt to help Malkia recapture the title they last won in 2015. Right now, it's Friday, the beginning of a weekend, and that means one thing: the return of the English Premier League game week 3, where Mikhailo Mudryk has joined Chelsea's lengthy injury list as Mauricio Pochettino chases his first win at home to Luton on Friday night. The 22-year-old was struck down by a muscle problem in training this week and has begun a period of rehabilitation, as described by the club. Meanwhile, Enzo Fernandez is almost certain to start, whereas Romeo Lavia missed training this week and remains unlikely to be involved. Pochettino could keep an unchanged backline despite conceding 3 goals last time out, with Robert Sanchez in goal and a defense of Mario Gusto, Axel Disasi, Thiago Silva and Levi Colwill in front of him. Right, I'm looking forward to that particular game, but that is all for now from the news desk. Thank you very much for making time to join us this afternoon. Well, we'll keep you updated on other developing stories, where you will join Emmanuel Maro for the Swahili Bulletin at exactly 4 p.m. My name is Victor Enzobeli. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and more so, the weekend.
Thank you.